shedding 6 times. What's going on, horror gang? Welcome to our Shot 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel. I'm your host, Marcus. As you know, please be sure to shoot that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. To get all the latest content updates to the channel. This is a late night regarding Screams. Obviously, Campbell not really Screams, but we're also not going to just talk about that. I want to talk about the entire franchise, the state of the franchise. Where is this franchise going from here? And with me tonight, I got my good friend Bob from Hunting for Entertainment, and my other good buddy Jordan from Jordantalksfilms. Everybody, well, guys, how you guys doing tonight? I'm a little lagged right now. Been streaming, doing videos all fucking day. You know what I mean? A little lost for words a little bit, so bear with me. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing good, bro. Just got off work and whatever. Ready to talk about some Scream 6.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Right. Just finished up watching Rocky Horror Picture Show with you, Marcus.
Yeah, that was good, man. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed that. Like, I really did. Fucking Tim Curry is the fucking man. Like, like I said, I'm a big fan of over the top, eccentric, wild motherfucking characters, and he bodied that part because that is a part you never seen that, right, Jordan?
No.
Oh, bro, I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna fuck you up. But you know what I mean, seeing Tim Curry in that role. But bro, he fucking murders it. He does. He's a fucking nut in that movie, and I love him. I do. Stone Cold Pimp. I love him.
Yeah, it shows you that it also shows that he had so much range as an actor.
Yes, absolutely. It really, really did. Man, he's a fucking legend, man. That for me just really boosted his legendary credibility, in my opinion. But all right, guys. So as we know, the big news out of Scream 6, other than Jenna Ortega's comments that we're gonna touch on later, Neve Campbell will not be reprising her role as Cindy Prescott, so to speak. To a loyal subscriber on the channel, Jen Warner. Apparently now the news is why there's a delay in filming is because Eyeglass Media and Paramount is now trying to renegotiate the numbers with Neve because, as we know, the reason why Neve did not want to come back is because the money wasn't right. So obviously we have two things to touch on here to begin with. One, I mean, obviously, you guys were in the chat box earlier for Shoot at Me Monday, and you saw how fucking wild and like a caged hyena I got over this situation. And it wasn't even the fact, and I've made this very clear. We already expected her either to have a very minimum role in this movie or not to be in it at all. We had no problem with that. A lot of us in the community have no problem with that. It's the circumstances of the, like, basically we kind of feel like, I mean, yes, budget is everything, but this is Neve Campbell we're talking about. And you have to know going to the table with her, if you just made a lot of money and had success with this most recent film, her price tag is going to be up there. And they gave her, and what her eyes was an unfair offer given to what she has given to the franchise. So I guess my question for you guys, and Jordan, I'm going to start with you since this is the first time you're on my channel and stuff, first time guest. What do you think? How do you think Spyglass Media approached this? Do you think they approached this with the intention that they knew she was going to turn it down? Or do you think they approached her saying, okay, this is all the money we have left from budget. This is all we have to offer you. And we mean no disrespect by it, but this is all we have to offer you at this time. What do you think about that? What do you think that case was?
Yeah, and what was the first scenario? Because I know what was the first
basically
scenario?
Like their intention was to lowball, like basically give her a lowball offer that they knew she wasn't going to take. mean,
Oh, yeah.
like they knew she wasn't going to take the offer. Like maybe they didn't want her back in this movie, obviously, so to put the challenge on radio silence to make it even more so of their own movie. You know what I mean? Or do you think that they really do want her in this movie, but because the budget has increased and they did bring back Hayden Panettiere, they did bring in Dylan Maroney or whatever his name is, he's top dollar. So being that you already have a couple top dollar, actors in this movie, plus the core four, I'm sure they demanded some more money. Do you think they wanted Nev back, but this is just all the money they had to offer? Or do you think they had more money, they could have offered her more money, they gave her a low ball offer just to, give it to her, knowing that she wouldn't take it? What do you think about that?
Man, like it's it's hard to say, but I feel like that first scenario, since there's not any evidence to go off on that being true, I think the second scenario will probably be most likely. But then again, I mean, like you said, it's Nev Campbell. They can find a way to pay her what she's, thinks she's deserving of. As again, like you said in like the last live stream, I think she would bring a lot of butts into seats. You know what I mean? So I feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like they probably did want her back, but also like I've been saying, I don't think there's any way you can fit. Like, how do you fit her into the story in the first place? So it's really hard to tell, man. It really could have been anything, but I don't know if they're renegotiating. I don't know. I think they should just. I'm not sure, bro. I'm honestly at a loss for words. I don't even know what to think.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation, especially how fast that whole now we're willing to negotiate since she went public about it. Bob, what do you think about this? How do you feel about it?
I view it very similar. It's obviously for me option two. I mean, one, it's not even so much the core four asking for more money. As we all know in movies and everything, as films come out, pay raises slowly go up, even if they don't ask for it. It just slowly goes up natural.
It does.
The key is if that's all they had left, and that even if that was all they had left and that's all they wanted to offer Nev, say it was $5 million. That's more than worthy for the character of Sydney to have a 30-second cameo at the end with getting a phone call. I don't care. I understand Nev is the face of that franchise, but if I'm a company, no matter what it is, I'm not paying someone top dollar for 30 seconds for a small role. I don't care who it is. That's an outrageous amount of money for no reason. You're paying someone that kind of money, they should be in it more. That's how I view it anyway. So you have to view it from both sides of that coin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hey,
and after I did calm down and gave it some thought, I did think of from the company and the studio's perspective, if the whole plan for Radio Silence is to only have her in for either the amount of time she was in Scream 5 or even a lesser role, do you really want to shell out the rest of your budget giving that money to her, knowing she's not going to have a significant role in this film, where as opposed to, and then also, in all honesty, having her back, even 10, 15 minutes, that's 10, 15 minutes we can get of character development for other characters. You know what I mean? So, I had to look at it from obviously the other side of the coin, and I do see both sides of the coin. I'll say this. I just hope, because we don't have the full details. We wasn't there at the desk when they were talking. I just hope that at this meeting that the intention was to give her the best offer they felt they can give her, and I hope they didn't burn the bridges. You know what I mean? That's all. I hope they didn't come at her in a way like, look, this is what we have for you. This is all we feel you're worth. And if you don't want to take it, that's it. Whatever. I hope they didn't come at her in that way. You know what I mean? Because I do think there's some story left for her. You know what I mean? Especially in some of the dialogue for 5. I was just waiting to see that in 7, not in 6. I was already anticipating her not to really be in 6 or not at all. I was really wanting to save her for 7 because I think there is a story arc still there for her. You know what I mean? But I mean, I just hope they didn't burn the bridges because from the way the dialogue from what she said in the statement, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't know if she's ever gonna want to come back. This was like a real farewell. Like to all my Scream fans who has rode with me in the Cindy Prescott character, I appreciate you, but I'm moving on. Like that right there, moving on. Like that is so significant because at the same time, if they are going to do a 7 film, obviously she would have knowledge of that. That can kind of leave the assumption that she might not even want to do that one. You know what I mean? So I think this is a very fascinating story. Now, what do you guys think about? What do you guys make of the whole apparent rumor that filming has now been pushed back because they are trying to renegotiate with her? What do you think about that, Jordan?
Man, me personally, listen, I literally just do not get. And listen, Sydney is my favorite character in the entire franchise, of all time. I genuinely
Gotcha.
don't get where she fits because Scream 5 was originally a 2.5-hour movie, maybe even longer, and they cut literally like 30 minutes off of it.
Yeah.
If Sydney is in this movie, especially with Gail, with Kirby, with the 4 that survived the last movie, how do they fit her in the movie without taking screen time from everybody else? It just doesn't make any sense unless they're going to make a 2.5-hour movie or 3-hour movie, which we know they cut it down because they didn't. They wanted more, I guess, viewings. I think that's probably like the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
And
reason
possibly also to extend the story even more to later sequels. You know what I mean? And so some of that stuff some of the stuff they might have cut, they might have saved it for 6 or 7 or whatever and stuff. Like, what do you think about that, Bob? Like, what do you think about this whole rumor that okay? And I think it's quite funny that if that is true, and it's something you said, Bob, that basically once they fucking heard the backlash, it's like, okay, hold up, let's get this pen and paper back out. And hey Nev, hey Nev, yeah, so that offer we originally gave you, can we talk about doubling, maybe tripling it? We don't like the backlash that we're getting. I mean,
bro, because we know they're gonna
and
make way more than they're gonna end up paying her anyway. Scream 5 made like 137, didn't it? Million?
140.
Like 140.
But again, with all the rumors we had, it's just going to be a small cameo at the very end. While I say she's worth it, why does that character deserve that when you have someone who's going to have more screen time in most of it than her? And then say that makes Jenna Ortega, who I guarantee you is going to blow up before 7, that's going to make her want even more money, and she's going to be a main star. So then what if in 7, Nev wants a huge amount, but Tara's getting more screen time? She starts saying, you gave Nev the money, I've blown up, I want what I've earned. Because everybody goes on how Jenna Ortega has blown up, and if she blows up, that agent's going to say, you're worth that money. So I think it's a double-edged sword. And also it shows that it seems a lot of fans, we don't know how much money was offered yet. We don't. For all we know, it was a fair amount for whatever amount of time she's in that movie. We can't go off of anything till we see a paper amount. Because look at wrestling. Wrestling fans complain, oh, you should have paid that person more money in contracts. The thing comes out, they offered more money than the wrestler had asked for, and they still turn it down. So we don't know how much.
That's a big trope in wrestling. That is a big trope in wrestling. A lot of guys, especially nowadays, and just for a lighter schedule and to be happier in another company, they turn down the top dollars where they're at to go somewhere else for a part-time schedule and to just be happier. So that definitely is in play. And I'll say this.
And plus, also look at Nev's schedule. She's got she got like 2 shows upcoming. Money shouldn't be an issue really for her.
I think she's looking at it. I think she's looking at it like this. and I kind of mentioned this early on the live stream, and I feel it from this perspective. Can we honestly say, without Nev, Courtney, and David, that movie sells at the box office without them like that?
At
Hey,
this
I
point,
mean,
no, but nobody has the balls to even attempt it.
Yeah,
well, I
that's
mean,
the truth.
listen, it's
And the TV
possible.
show had the balls to do it, actually. So I do take that back. That didn't need Sydney at all. Great storytelling in seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But fans will
Sorry.
complain that
What's
it's
that?
not Scream without Sydney. But yet I don't hear them complain about no Maureen pictures anymore, and that Scream is Maureen. Without the events of what happened to Maureen, there's no Sydney. Ghostface
That is
isn't
true.
going after her without that past. Why is it Scream is Sydney? I don't
hey,
hear many
Valerie.
people. Hey, Valerie. And like I said, I get where people are coming from, but if you want to be technical, Scream started because of Maureen.
Yeah.
And she wasn't even the
Yeah.
main character in the first movie, technically, because she was already dead.
Yeah, that is true.
And you know
I just
what I
think,
want to
I mean,
know
I see it
is,
from both ends financially. I see it from both ends financially. And like you said, Bob, yes, they may not have the balls to make a Scream movie without, having those original three characters in it. You know what I mean? But I mean, if I'm Nev, if I'm David M. Gale, you know what I mean, or Courtney, or especially Courtney and Nev, since they were, are still alive and the franchise is supposed to be coming back, ain't my problem. You don't put those asses in the seats without us. You know what I mean? So give me my cut. And that's just how I feel about it. Like, we put the asses in the seats. You know what I mean? It is not our fault that you guys didn't feel confident enough to make a Scream movie without us. You needed us to drive viewers to the movie theaters. You know what I mean? And I feel from Nev in that regard where she's coming from, but much to the studio, if you're only planning to have her in this movie for a few short minutes, why would you want to break the bank when you can develop other characters? You know what I mean? I do see it from that aspect. Now, with this whole rumor that they're trying to renegotiate, I will ask you this. Do you guys think that Radio Silence banged on the door to the studio and said, "We have her in this movie, maybe even more so than we think"? You know what I mean? We need her in this movie. Go fucking renegotiate. What do you think about that, Jordan?
actually that does make sense because, like Bob said in, I guess that was 2 lives ago, but like he said, it's not Radio Silence. It was, Spyglass. So, and we've heard about what is all that we've heard about Radio Silence? How much they respect Nev, how much they love her, how much they love the franchise and Wes. I think that's, something I feel like they would do. So maybe it was because of them. They were like, yo, you got to renegotiate. We wrote this part for her in our story, and, she's essential to it. Maybe I think that is a huge possibility that actually happened.
What about you, Bob? What do you think?
I see it happening, but at the same time, it's the same thing Jordan keeps saying. How are you going to fit her into this story without taking away from the core four? That's the main problem. You already did horrible developing in 5. So if Nev gets even more time in this than say she did in 5, that's even less time because you're going to have to introduce Kirby back into the mix. Gail's going to be in there most likely more. Now you have Sydney. Well, people want to see more Tara in that, but it's like they keep going back to Sydney as well.
Bro, you're
gonna mess up your storytelling of these new characters. Here's how you risk it all. Here's how you should risk it all. If you have her come back, even if you have to throw a lot of money, which is gonna piss me off as a fan, because then it makes Nev look more money hungry for being in there for a very small amount of time. But you do that, she doesn't interfere in the movie. You have to write out these characters in order for 7 to be a successful film. You need to show you can do it without Sydney. I don't care what other people say. We haven't seen a movie without her. You need to break away a little bit because guess what? Sooner or later in real life, if they want to keep going, Nev Campbell's not immortal. Nev Campbell one day will die. And what happens when that happens? It's the same argument with Freddy Krueger and Robert Englund. Well, guess what? Robert Englund's not getting older he's getting older every day, not younger. He's not going to be able to do those stunts when we get a new movie. It's time to rip the Band-Aid off for one film. Please. Or you're gonna keep giving in to Sydney fans, not Screen fans, Sydney fans that only go for Sydney. There are a lot of fans that want to see something new and intriguing, and in order to do something new and intriguing, you have to get rid of the OG3 for one film. Bringing in Kirby only would have been a perfect scenario. That's only one OG you have to worry about writing on. And that character could have changed from 4, from the events. So they could still kind of make that their own character to an extent. And that's where I'm on it. And believe me, it hurts me to say what I said, but people aren't immortal. That's all I can say.
I mean, we already said it. We already expected her to be out of 6. You know what I mean? Us in this community that we all talk to, we already figured she was going to be out of 6. Mm-hmm. For me earlier, why this bugged me so much is because what about 7? You know what I mean? And stuff, because she definitely, especially with some dialogue in Scream 5, there's some still story to be told there. And also, if Stu doesn't, let's say if Stu doesn't come back at the end of 6, you know what I mean? Let's say if they don't reveal Stu at the end of 6, you know what I mean? Not saying we can't have Stu revealed without Cindy, but I feel like it would be a missed opportunity given the history there, which is why I wanted to see that in 7. 6 could give a damn less. 6, I wanted Radio Silence to break away, make their own movie, make their characters develop that they have, et cetera, et cetera. If you want to bring Nev back to finish some of the dialogue that you had in 5, I'm all for it because I feel like there's some dialogue they do need to clean up. You know what I mean? But in terms of 6, I mean, I don't care if she comes back in 6 because we already thought she wasn't going to be back. I just hope that they didn't burn the bridges, that if there is a possibility for her character to have a story in 7, I just hope they didn't burn that bridge. You know what I mean? And stuff, because I do think there's story left to be told for her, but you should save it for the next one when you're already done, at least mostly developing these new characters and stuff like that. Then that's how you fit Cindy back into the picture once you got these other characters established and stuff like that. Like it's a fascinating situation, guys. Like, so in all honesty, really, if you think about it, we're going to be talking about this for the next 2 days now too, because if they are really renegotiating with her, who's to say she don't sign? You know what I mean? Who's to say she signs or she don't sign? Like, this is such a fascinating story since they push filming back. Like, we're gonna have to have our antennas up, you know, for news and all that stuff, because if they're really trying to renegotiate with her, we got to the 9th to find out what happens. You know what I mean? Like, what officially
we got
happens.
2 days.
Yeah. If they're trying to renegotiate with her. And I will say this. I mean, does she deserve every penny? Yes. But if she really did all this just for a 30-second cameo or for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, as a fan, I will be a little bit disappointed with her because I think she's above that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I think
she's, you know what I mean? She is so above that. And that's one of the things that, for me in Scream 5, that we kind of already got a taste what it was like without Cindy. And it wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? There were some flaws. There were some flaws that we need to correct, obviously, especially character development. But in terms of actually being an enjoyable movie, without Cindy for like the first hour and like 20 minutes of the movie, it actually fared pretty well. I mean, which is why I think we can come to an agreement that, especially for Scream 6, we didn't want Nev to be in Scream 6 because we wanted these new characters to be developed. I just hope they didn't burn the bridges completely.
Yeah.
Now, let's move.
one
Val
thing
has an interesting point, though. What if she turned it down, not just for the money? I mean, she did seem very hesitant about coming back in 5. What if they did offer her a huge amount and she just declined it? What if this delay isn't even anything to do with her, but they have to rewrite things that were going to be implemented for 7?
Yeah. Hey, and one thing I did want to say is, like regarding the how she knew Sam was Billy's daughter. If you go back, bro, like Gail had told her, because when she walks across, like around the corner, she asked Gail, like, "Is that her?" So I think that's how you explain that, because I think Gail told her. You know, you remember?
Yeah, but Gail didn't know neither. Gail didn't know neither. Gail did not know who Samantha was. When you go back and watch that dialogue when Samantha and Gail meet, she has no clue who Samantha is. No clue whatsoever. If you read the text messages Dewey sent, there was no dialogue whatsoever between Dewey or Gail signaling to Sydney that is Billy Loomis's daughter. Not at all. Like, I went back and played that movie back countless times to make sure I wasn't bugging. That's why I was so gung-ho on that part, because I'm like, how the fuck does she know that? You know what I mean?
I think it might have been the plot hole. I don't know. It could have been
something. Or it could be a case of bad writing. You know what I mean? Or
I think it is.
Be anything. It could be anything. You know what I mean? But
or it either could be Spyglass saying they want to put in certain things. Because now I have questions: how much did Radio Silence have somewhat control on even the character development? You know, after seeing all this, I have some serious questions. Did they pull a Weinstein's and want certain things in? Because certain things felt more forced than others in that movie. It seemed like at one point one thing was going to go one way, then it kind of pulled back.
Right? Yeah, it did. It really did.
I don't know if we could even blame writing till we know how much Spyglass really screwed over these guys. And who's to say with all this, it didn't screw over them writing either? I mean, maybe the whole delay is because they have to figure their crap out real quick. Because they had a trilogy in mind, thought Sydney'd be there all the way through. Now we're kind of at this point where, now I know people think everyone knows everything. How do we know Spyglass wasn't telling them crap like, "Oh, don't worry, she'll come on. We'll work with her." And they think the whole time, "Okay, we'll get it," and they just found out. We don't know if they just found out either. Remember, studios don't always tell the directors and writers everything.
No, they're the studios. They're the studios. They run the show at the end of the day. They're the ones who can build a project or cancel it.
Yeah, and they could tell the writers, directors one thing, right?
They could walk in tomorrow and tell Radio Silence, "We don't want you to do Scream 6. It's done."
Yeah.
To you.
They have that power. Now, Val, to answer your question on my end. Yeah. Val, to answer your question on my end, I feel like if she didn't really want to come back at all, she would have immediately said that after Scream 5, like, "I'm not doing no more." I don't think she would have entertained even the idea of a contract if she really didn't want to come back at all. I just don't think she entertains the idea of a contract. Yes, she kind of was hesitant about coming back in 5, but also keep in mind, it's also because it had to feel like a West movie. It did. The way that they did it made her feel comfortable like it was a West movie, especially with all the nostalgia and stuff. That's why I think that she did ease up and say, and plus the money, you know what I mean? She said, "Okay, I'm going to come back," or whatever. I feel like if she really did not want any more parts of the Scream franchise, she would have came and said, "Look, guys, this last Scream 5 movie is really it. I'm not fielding no contract negotiations for further Scream movies. I'm not entertaining it. I don't want it. I don't want to deal with it no more. The fact that she did entertain it tells me she had some interest in returning. You know what I mean? So that's just me on my end.
Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
let's move on. But see, that's not kind of true, because in order to entertain the contract, you got to look at the money.
Yeah,
you got to look at the contract to even entertain it. You know what I mean? The fact that she even entertained him by meeting with them, that's entertaining. That's teasing. Okay, let me see what you're gonna give me. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And obviously, what she looked at wasn't what she was hoping they were gonna give her, and she said, "Yeah, I'm not really full blown on entertaining this contract." You know what I mean? But
Right.
the whole point, in my opinion, she didn't say no immediately, and she left the door open. That tells me she still has some love for returning to the franchise. It just had to probably be the right script. Now, keep in mind, she didn't say the script was bad. Did not come out and say the script was bad. You know what I mean? It was obviously the money. You know what I mean? So it's definitely fascinating. But I want to move on, because we have been talking about this shit all day, and we're going to be talking about it for the next 2 days until we get official word on the knife when filming is supposed to start, or whatever. I wouldn't be shocked if we get another delay or whatever. But I do want to move on, because we have a couple days to keep talking about this. This is going to probably be an all week thing. Now, what I will say is this: what do you guys think this means for Courtney Cox? I'm going to start off with you, Jordan, or whatever. I'm gonna go grab a drink real quick, but I can hear you because I got my shit on speaker, basically.
Okay.
But what do you think? What do you think this means for Courtney Cox? And do you think that even if they offer her the money she's looking for, she turns it down because Nev isn't going to be in this movie?
Man, dude, I don't know. Damn, I switched my words backwards. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, bro, because I don't know. We know that in the past she didn't want anything to do with the franchise anymore. So I'm not sure. I don't know if that would make her not want to come back. Um, she was taken off the cast list like right around the time Hayden came on, so I think she might not return.
Right after she got on. Right as soon as Hayden got announced, she was off.
Oh yeah. After you said that, I think she might not return, bro. I'm gonna be honest. And listen, I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, everybody knows I don't like Gail. Everybody knows that, but like, she would have still been like a good addition to the story. I don't know, man. I don't think she's gonna return now that you said that, because she was taken right off like immediately. So I think it's just gonna be the four the four survivors along with Kirby at this point, I think. And I don't think that's a bad thing, if I'm being honest. It gives more room for them to focus on the other characters. But then again, it brings up the question: how is she even going to be implemented into the story? Is she going to be an opening kill? Otherwise, like, are they just randomly in the same city as Kirby? How is this going to work? You know what I mean?
Exactly. I agree with that. Now, Bob, you go ahead next, buddy. What do you think about that question?
I think it's just going to be the four survivors and Kirby. And I think what they're going to implement somewhere in there is Kirby's going to be more of like how can I put this? Like, she's going to be more of a mentor-esque, like a therapist or something to help like Tara and Sam get over the attacks, because they were really the ones mainly focused through all of that. So they're going to have all that trauma on their mind, very similar to how Kirby did. And everybody wants to see a Mindy Kirby thing. I don't want to see them interact with movies. You can make an argument, because Randy was never proud of his horror knowledge. We never got to see that character expand past 2 because he died early. Sure. Who's to say if he was traumatized the same way that Kirby was, that he'd want to really see this movie? Remember, killer was going around and all of that, but he never was the sole like focus at one point. Even though he was almost attacked, whoever it was ran out of the house as soon as Sydney started screaming outside. So he never even really felt the full force of that attack.
Well, I got a question. I got a good question. So, with that being said, so we know Randy, he didn't have like any super traumatic stuff like when it came to like the first movie. And if you go to the TV series, Noah was still a horror fan. Do you think that maybe we can see a little switch up, like maybe either Kirby or Mindy, or maybe even both, kind of move off of their horror fandom because
that's
of
where I was going
facts?
with Kirby, but because I was explaining where I'm coming from. So Kirby, with that traumatic, is not going to want to continue being a horror buff. She's not going to be in there for film college. She's going to be more of that therapist-esque type of character. It's not going to even be your typical college professor. See, everybody wants that. But guess what? Not everyone that goes through trauma is still going to want to carry on their thing. We don't know how Radio Silence is going to want to utilize her. And I think it would be more interesting to see them have someone move off of being a horror fan and break off and see how they cope with that. And when you look at Mindy, she's cold-hearted. The minute you have a Kirby and Mindy interaction, it's not going to end well. You're going to have Kirby hating her through the whole movie. There's not going to be a redemption arc for Mindy. We saw how Mindy even reacted with Tara being attacked. Oh, well, she could still die at any time. Like, nonchalantly,
exactly.
like she didn't care. Kirby would catch on to that as a victim. There's no mending that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, with that being said, bro, like, I think me and Bob already talked about this, but Marcus, I want to get your opinion on it. What do you think about a character that was already, you know, a character from Scream 5, such as Mindy, Chad, Sam, Tara, whoever, being the killer of Scream 6, kind of like the TV show? We've never seen that in the movies, bro. Where like every time it's a new person, a new character that's introduced to that movie. What do you think about a returning character being Ghostface in this upcoming one?
I think if you want to get different and subvert expectations, like they say they want to and they are, I think that you can definitely do that. And I think the perfect catalyst would be Mindy because of how cold-hearted she is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Out of the other ones, I mean, I have my reservations about Sam, but now I don't know, because I mean, you know, Sid was a big part of those reservations, and now, you know, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where Sam's character is going to go from this. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
Let's say
because I had Sam possibly being that type of character, because we don't know what she did in those 5 years, but now, like, we don't know where the fuck they're going to go with her character. We don't have no idea whatsoever. Especially from my theory and from my point of view, you know what I mean? Cindy kind of played a big part in that for me, you know what I mean? And now that she's not in it, I might have to go back to the drawing board with this fucking chick, man. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Maybe you'll come to the side of me and Valerie. You know, Tara is sus.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
dude,
but no. But I'm even more leaning, and this is actually what I've been leaning more towards in all honesty, that both of them are fucking involved, in all honesty. You know what I mean? Because they both have, Sam and Tara, they both have, Bob and Val made a lot of interesting points about Tara.
I think one of them.
I have my sus things about Sam. Like, you know what I mean? Like for instance, Jordan, I don't know if you've ever peeped my video where I mentioned this or whatever. Sam was gone for 5 years, right? Gone for 5 years, didn't see nobody in Woodsboro, didn't even see her sister, whatever. But yet, in the hospital scene, when she looks up at Richie and says, I know where to find help, she knows where the fuck Dewey live. How the fuck do you know where Dewey lives after 5 years of not being in Woodsboro, right? After 5 years of not being in Woodsboro. And this is why it's so key to me, because we know that Dewey, in the events of Scream 4, him and Gail was living in a big house. You know what I mean? So around that time or whatever, in that time frame or whatever, Sam probably was just about to be a teenager, or she was a little bit older than a teenager. She was probably getting into her troubled ways I would say no, she was 13. All right, so if what Scream 4 came out in 2010, right? 11.
11.
So
11.
this movie came out this year, 11 years or whatever. So if we're going by that age, Sam would have been 14 years old. That would have been right after she found out about Billy or whatever and shit.
Mhm.
Why that is so key though is because not only did obviously Dewey and Gail move out of that big house, they moved to New York and then Dewey moved back to Woodsboro. How the fuck would you know where Dewey lives, right? But you don't know where Stu Mocker lived?
That is strange.
Yes,
Either
but
it's a
also
plot
with the
hole.
time gap, you also remember they didn't give the specific year Dewey moved back either.
No.
Sam could have easily still been there when he did move back. Not to mention, if she mentioned the name Dewey, who was also part of the killing duo? Who is Richie working with? Amber, who's been in Woodsboro. It's easy to explain it in a text message, you know. He's not going to be looking at his fucking phone.
Yeah, but hold on. I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll have to go back or whatever and check it out, but I'm pretty sure when they're talking or whatever and stuff, Gail and Dewey are talking. I think that was 2 years before this events of this movie that he left her. It was like 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 2 or 3 years. I'm pretty sure that they mentioned or whatever and stuff like that. So let's just go with the premise that is true. I'm going to go back for clarification or whatever. But let's just go back with the premise that is like that they were separated for 3 years now. So that means 2022 or whatever. That means in 2019 they separated. Sam was still gone out of Woodsboro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But
so
who was working with Richie though? See, everyone forgets it. Amber is consistently in Woodsboro. Richie is part of that killing duo. All it would take is a message. Where is Dewey live? We see Sam is not constantly looking at Richie's phone. It's not that hard to explain.
Yes,
but then she would have questioned,
Sam.
how do you know where
it was
he
Sam.
lives?
But keep in mind, it was Sam who looked up at Richie and said, I know where to find help, implying that she knew where to find Dewey.
Yes, but I could say I know where to find help. Does that mean I know where a police station is in another town if I'm new to that town? Someone would have to tell me where it is.
That's the thing, though. Especially him being an ex-cop, they're not going to give out that information. They're not.
Actually, yes, they would.
They will not. They will not give
the
out that information.
The house would still be on public records. You can still find out
where
anyone lives.
But remember, he was in that trailer. That trailer might not be a real address. That could be a P.O. box.
No, that's not how that works. The trailer would be an actual address. A P.O. box is at a post office.
I'm just not buying the fact that after 5 years of being gone, yeah, Richie could have known where Dewey lived, but it was implied that Sam was the one who knew where he lived by her saying what she said to him. And that is so pivotal. And so, because she walked right up to his doors. It wasn't Richie who walked right up. He stood right behind her. She went right up to his door with full confidence and knocked on that door. And I'm just not buying that after 5 years. Now, I will say this. I have this crazy theory. You know how I think Sam is involved, right? What if
I do? I don't know.
She is involved. What if she is involved what if she is involved and obviously she was in Woodsboro with Richie and Amber planning this out, which explains how she would know where to find Dewey.
Okay, but if we're going to go off that, then it was also, how does Tara not know about the whole thing? Because they stated that Sam was yelling in the house about the whole Billy thing. You're telling me Tara wouldn't hear that?
Maybe she was at a friend's house.
School.
Maybe.
But maybe Sam would have to be at school too, though, because at her age, she was like 13. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they have to go back and explain that. Obviously, I would like to see that. We've talked about that we want to see what's obviously in those diaries, and we would like to see a reenactment of that scene.
But also, something you guys also fail to realize is neither could be involved. Amber could easily get information out of Tara because they've been friends for a while. We know that Sam has been seeing Billy in her head. It's not hard if you're asleep to be sleep talking. Richie's obviously going to hear it.
Yeah, if
when you think about it,
Sam
could be involved.
Does turn out to be a killer.
This is another thing.
It's going to be.
This is another thing to keep in mind real quick though, is that let's say Tara was in the house. Tara's an 8-year-old girl at that point. She might not even understand what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, but a kid's more curious. Yes, but a kid is going to be more curious than an adult.
She might be curious, but that doesn't mean she's going to fully comprehend the situation, what's happening. She can be curious also. Yeah. She can be curious.
Then the arguments I'm going to give you guys is, and I'm going to use this as everyone else, why don't we talk about the medication she's on? Nobody brings that up about Sam. Everybody just wants to bring that up. It's easy for you to forget a lot of different things. Show no emotion. It's easy to forget where Stu's house is if you're medicated. Your mind is not fully functional. Even if you're not taking high-end drugs from a drug dealer, you're still on medication. It's easy to forget what address it is. You can watch many movies. Look at me. I've watched Halloween Kills about 20 times. I still screwed up. Marcus and was talking about he was reaching for the mask, not a knife, and I'm not on medication. Yeah. So everybody wants to sit here and say, oh, this makes no sense. But they don't bring up the medication. No one talks about medication.
I mean, I do.
But the issue with that is that is public knowledge. That address would be all over the place.
So you're telling me within the span of driving from the hospital to get out of Woodsboro to Tara losing her inhaler, Sam's just going to go on and be like, oh, let me look up Stu Mocker's house? It makes no sense.
If she did the research on her father, she would have to find that out. It's public knowledge.
In the span of driving from the hospital because Tara loses her inhaler, which Richie stole, you're telling me she's going to look on a phone and look up the address? Oh, where does Stu live randomly? That makes no sense.
She probably would know how the house looks.
What I am saying,
yes, but medication makes you forget.
Bluffing. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but so could Tara. But so is Tara with the opening kill then. And so could
this is why they both could be involved.
Bro, I don't think. Listen,
it's not impossible.
Sam does end up being a killer.
Think about this. Look how easy Tara was forgiving of Sam after all that resentment she showed. She forgave her so easily. You know what I mean? It's not impossible to think. Think about this. These are two traumatized girls. In all honesty. You know what I mean? One found out her fucking dad's a serial killer. The other one's dad bailed out on her. You know what I mean? Their mom don't give a fuck about them. It's not impossible to think. Like, you know what I mean?
It is. Like I said, then you're going to turn that everybody that is a serial killer as a father is going to end up being the killer. And guess what? There are far more people out there that connect to Sam than people realize. And you turn that, you're going to turn more fan base. What do they? Yes, but if they go that route, it's repeat of every horror movie that utilizes that concept. You want to subvert expectations? You want to risk it all? You have her fight those demons and turn into a good person, becoming a vigilante.
Bro, that's what I've been thinking. But hey, listen, if Sam ends up becoming the killer, it's not going to be revealed that she was involved all along. She's gonna become the killer. I don't think. Same thing with any of the returning characters. Except maybe Tara, if she turns out to be involved. Even though there's a couple scenes in Scream 5 which would make it not make sense, but like even with like Mindy or Chad, I feel like they might become killers instead of having been involved all along. Especially if it was Sam. I think that's the only way to do it logically.
Actually, you could easily explain Mindy with that one scene in the garage.
From my end, from what I watched this movie.
Well, the scene in the garage
I told you this, Bob.
No, it doesn't, because she could be working on her own. She didn't know that there were other killers out there.
Who are you talking about?
I don't know about that because I mean, think about it, bro. Because Amber and Richie were killing people the whole movie.
No, what I'm saying is, but we know that if they're working with the cult thing, we know that Vince would be off limits related to Stu right now. Maybe he was going to recruit Vince. We don't know that. Mindy could have easily went that route.
I mean, we don't know that.
Hell, you could have Liv could be revealed as a third killer that was killed, for all we know.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I'm not sure that
true. I mean, I've seen a lot of people. A lot of people initially thought of that, but I remember watching Beyond the Mask video, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of leaned towards where his thinking was. When you really look at Liv, she was the Stephen Orff of this time, or whatever, and stuff like that. And he pointed out certain things. Obviously, like it was basically like the reverse concept. Chad was the king in this situation, and she was the Stephen Orff, because you barely seen her have any screen time. She barely got any love and all that shit like that. Like, she was like the Stephen Orff. And you'd have to go watch his video in order because he explains it way better than I do. You know what I mean? And shit like that. But when I watched that video, I was like, I can see that. You know what I mean? I can see why Liv's character was like that. That kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? Because that always bothered me too. Like, she's supposed to be obviously one of the core friend groups, and she barely got any screen time. You know what I mean? So, like, and that's why a lot of people did think that she was like the third possible killer and stuff like that. That just actually got killed off, and we never got that revealed and stuff like that.
I feel like she would have been like good as the killer.
I mean, I get where you're coming from, Bob, in terms of turning obviously Sam heel and making her involved the whole time. I'm just telling you from what I saw with my own eyes, what they presented to her, to us as a character from my lens. I felt like they just made her the new Billy Loomis in terms of,
but you also have to remember, I've gone through traumatic where I lost someone due to a drunk driver, and that vision stays with me. There was a long time I had to be on that same kind of medication, not quite on the antipsychotics. So you have to remember, I went through that. I know that feeling, not being able to show emotion. You can easily explain, but everybody, especially in that scene, goes, "Oh, Jenna performed so well. Oh, Jenna's over the top." They don't even think about being on drugs. They don't comprehend when people go through real life traumatic events like that these medications we take can make us go like this, not show anything at all, just sound robotic.
Yeah, and I know Faye brought that up. Yeah, that's
Faye's about the only one that really did bring it up. I mean, the rest are all, we need Sam to go full killer. It's the only thing that would make this worthy. Or kill Sam in the beginning. Well, if you kill Sam in the beginning, there's going to be not a lot more of today's youth that goes through a lot of similar problems that have that same thing. And
what's up?
Even I might end up having to walk out because it's like,
it's not that I want. It's not me personally that I
no, not you. I'm saying the people that don't want to hear facts.
I got my fix with Sam as a killer at the end of 5. I got my fix. I got
that was crazy.
I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but when you think about making her vigilante but if you make her a vigilante, it makes far more sense on that character to have that arc, because that shows she didn't become her father. Everybody wants to see her be more like that as a psychopathic killer to be revealed. Why not have her turn good but still killing people that are ghost faces?
I get that. I'm just saying. I get that. I'm just saying, from what they showed us, they clearly showed us with her in Scream 5. We don't know how she's going to look in Scream 6. Hopefully we get better character development. But in Scream 5, from what I've seen, they did the complete exactly what you don't want to see, Bob. And that's they made her look like her dad. Yes, they did.
No, they did. Richie had already stabbed her at that point. It's not like she wasn't attacked by Richie.
They hammered it down our throat that she's the final girl. They hammered it down our throat that she's the final girl, and a lot of people don't believe that. Now,
see, that's
why
the
I say
thing.
that,
See, they're talking
listen,
about
hold on,
subverting
goddamn.
expectations, and you're not
That's because
seeing
they
it.
didn't like her acting.
Okay,
That's
okay,
literally
we're
all.
not talking about subverting expectations for
Yes,
6.
we
I'm telling
are.
you how
This
they
is the
made.
whole.
No,
Bro,
I'm
it's
telling you
because they
how they
didn't like
made
her.
her look in 5. How they made her look in 5 was completely like her dad. Listen to what I'm saying. In the original Scream, what did West do? We made Billy look like the suspect, all for him to turn out to be the suspect. What did they do in Scream 5? We are shoving it down your throats that Sam is the final girl, but there's a lot of things that point to that she could be a suspect. There is.
That's the whole point of Scream.
Yeah,
Everybody's
I think
supposed to
that's.
look like a
I don't think they
suspect.
thought that deep, bro. I honestly don't. Like, listen, I don't
Huh?
think she's gonna be a killer. And one thing I proposed is like in Scream 6, she'll be going to like
I
therapy
don't know.
sessions or whatever, and that'll be how you finally get a killer that doesn't die at the end and goes to prison, kind of like in season 2, where she kind of makes that decision not to actually, kill somebody anymore. You know what I mean? I think that's how she's gonna come to that
Yeah.
decision because she doesn't want to be like Billy. She spends the whole Scream 5 literally in dialogue saying like, I'm not like you and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
And plus, when you look at the ending, Richie had already attacked her. At that point, she had every right to kind of snap. It's not like she just snapped randomly because he didn't attack.
Right.
No, I'm saying no. From how they made her look, in my opinion, they made her look like Billy. We are going to make you believe something that is not true, which is basically what they did to Billy in 96. Basically, it turned out to be true that he was the killer. I think they're using reverse psychology with Sam. Just by, like I said, there's just too many instances. There's just too many instances where I get it. The whole thing is to make her look like a red herring. I get it. But there is just too many things that make her look like a red herring that don't add up. I hope they give me the character development that I'm looking for. I hope that they give me the patchwork that covers up some of the issues I have with that character. I'm just telling you, I genuinely feel that they're trying to pull the same trick with Sam that they did with Billy in 96. I'm not saying I like it. I'm just telling you, I'm saying that's from what I saw.
Yeah, but they already established they want to risk it all, subvert expectations. Everybody under the sun, except for pretty much me and Val, are finding Sam way too sus. Everybody thinks she's going to be the killer. Risking it all is proving she's not going to be a killer in 6, like Jordan said with the ending. That's how I see it going.
Yeah. Let's talk about how they could make like someone like Tara involved.
They made her look really big suspect. They made her look like her dad. You know what I mean?
Okay, and they made Tara look far more sus in the opening attack.
In the opening,
you're telling me.
I'll go more with the ending. I'll go with more with the ending. I got more sus vibes from the ending.
Because how did she get
just tie her up?
First off, no. Let me start by explaining it. Who else is going to know better than her own sister to bring her back?
They put her in the wrong place. If they wanted to pull the Neil Prescott move, they didn't even put her in the right place.
Dude, hey,
that's what bothered me about the tie-up scene in the end with Tara. When I went back to look at that,
nobody but Tara would know her sister better to bring her back. And we know that Amber or Richie or even Stu went way too over the top. That explains the brutality there. But notice through all that brutality, no major organs or anything were hit.
Bro, and they could have literally did actually inform themselves on where to hit. You were talking about were you talking about Tara? Or were you talking
about Tara
in the opening scene?
Yeah.
Explain it. Not just the tying, because the tying, that's in of its own right. But that opening, you could easily fake for a security camera that's in the house. Number one.
Yeah, bro. Because remember, dude, I think they could literally do that. Because I remember, I brought that up, it was in a live stream, our second one, dude, I think. And we were like, bro, what if she was putting on the act for the camera? Because there's so much stuff sus shit in that movie. How obviously Amber could have tied her up, but how did she do it so effortlessly before Sydney and Gail got there? It just makes sense a little bit in a way. but I don't know.
It
I
does,
feel like they
but
could actually pull that
when
off.
you had the whole split up thing, you easily could have killed her. But you're telling me that you're just going to tie her up and let her live?
That was clearly like a
I feel
Neil
like
Prescott parallel.
and this is what it was suspect for me. Why I questioned that move, because obviously, in my opinion, they were trying to aim for the Neil Prescott vibe, but you didn't even put her in the right fucking place. That's what debunked my whole thing for that right there. You didn't even put her in the right closet. For fans of this franchise, for you to make that mistake, that's what made me really like, okay, that is really sus of terror, because one, they tie her up, don't even bother to kill her. You know what I mean? Or at least bring her out with everybody else. You know what I mean? Then she's not even in the right fucking closet when Sam finds her. If you're going on like Neil Prescott rules and trying to, make her seem like the Neil Prescott of this time, they did not do it right. And that really, really bothered me, because I'm like, why would you not just, if anything, just, especially after you already got everybody in the kitchen, go grab her then.
And also,
You waited a whole hot minute to go grab her.
But also, outside that, I know plenty of people who have asthma. Guess what happens if they lose that inhaler and they realize it? They go into a massive attack. You ain't going to be going into that house all fine just looking for that inhaler. They have to drive back to that hospital immediately.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We'll see. We're going to see about these characters. I hope we get, all I'm going to say is this. I hope we all get the proper character development that we all hope for each of these characters. I really hope that they clear up a lot of the dialogue in Scream 5. And if Sam isn't a real suspect, I get it. We're supposed to believe everybody's a suspect. This is where I argue that about Sam being the final girl. We never thought Cindy was a suspect. Never, not once.
Well, obviously, she can't attack herself.
But they're taking a different route on this one.
But
they knew that we thought she would be sus because she's hallucinating and all that. Even before the movie came out, we were making theories that she could be the killer.
I actually, this is actually before I started getting into my shit. Me, initially, when I thought of the character Sam, I just thought that she was going to be revealed as Billy's daughter. You know what I mean? Did I really see this character being as sus as I came to the conclusion, as much as she looked to me? No, based on they were basically saying she's the new Cindy Prescott. So when I hear that, I'm thinking, okay, then there's no way you can count her as a red herring, because Cindy was never a red herring. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
never
but
once did we.
Also, you have to stop to think. They're trying to appeal to a new generation. Yeah, granted, 96, a lot of people didn't suspect her. You notice how that continued on in every single Scream movie? They did try something new. They're doing it now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Sam is going to be that final girl. I'm telling you, and you can take that to the bank.
I don't know. I'm put this
she
way.
is, bro.
If she is.
Sam and Tara are going to survive at the end of it. It's going to be them too.
If she is, they got to present her better. They do, and she has to do a better job presenting herself. You know what I mean? As an actress, you know what I mean. She does. You know what I mean?
Think they purposely made her that way. Though.
See, this is the thing.
Wait, so then you're saying that if, say, they had cast someone like me that literally was on that and would be the same way, that I'd have to be a better actor?
Wrong. This is the thing. They've said, and this is multiple people who have watched Melissa Barrero's other movies. They said her performance is just the exact same type of way as in Scream. Like
but she's on drugs. I can relate. That's why I said so. If I'm the same way,
drugs in those other movies.
Oh my God, you're missing the whole concept.
Well,
I think the character is written.
Jake said that she's an incredible actor.
Yes, I get it for how her Scream 6 character. No, I get it, Bob, for how her Scream 6 character. I mean, for how her Scream character was written. But when other people are going back watching her movies and saying,
yes, but also she's not a natural-born actress; she's a singer.
I get that, and I understand that. But when there are multiple movies out there and people in the same vibe, That's just who you are as an actor. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but then that
maybe
falls on
that
radio
type of act
silence for
showing
casting her.
like
So
you
again,
we
then
know
you're
this,
blaming
especially as
someone
wrestling
that's
fans.
not a.
Wrestling fans. But this one,
Yeah,
But
but
dude, listen, even Jake, like Jake said that, and he
wait, what? Say
saw
that
her
again.
other movies, and she did really good in them. So
yeah,
I think
she's
it
not
must have
that
been
bad.
intentional.
I mean, when she first started, yeah, it was more like this, but in later films, she's actually done good,
Yeah, I need to watch them too. I haven't watched them.
especially
But
in the
Killjoy
Heights.
Jake said it was.
Especially, I think it was in the Heights. She was damn good in that.
Hmm. So you think that she was directed to act the way she was, though, Bob?
Yeah, because when you're dealing with all them drugs, you're gonna have no emotion. You're gonna be.
What type of character she?
Yeah, I agree that she was directed that way. I think.
But also, you have to stop to think about this as well. When you're on these drugs that show no emotions, you're going to be robotic. A lot of people like me can relate because I've been there. I've had it, not antipsychotic drugs, but antidepressants, all sorts of shit that would mellow me out to where I'd be pretty much asleep half the day. Melatonin, just I'd sit here not know what's happening around me. So that's why I said, so if other people in our shoes were put in there and acted the same way, does that mean that we're bad actors? Because I think it falls on the character.
No,
Yeah, bro, she's not going to
no.
be the
I'm
killer. I
just
don't
saying
think
that from
she.
what I heard from other people from her previous performances, that they took away the same from those other performances that they took away from Scream. That she's just obviously we know she's a singer. She's not a full actress at heart. A lot of them just felt like they got the same type of character and vibe off of her in each of those other movies or whatever. Could that be true? No. You know what I mean? Everybody has their own opinion on how a character portrays. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see where they're going to take these characters. I mean, like I said, let's just hope we get the character development we want. And let's just hope that with the character development we get, they make these characters, especially Sam, look better because I just feel like they writ her too much like Billy in 5, and you know, I just to me I caught that, and hopefully in 6, hopefully I hope you do get. I mean, hopefully she does turn out to be a good person and fight through those demons. You know what I mean and stuff. I just don't know. You know what I mean. I just don't know, given how I see her in Scream 5. It's iffy for me. You know what I mean? It's really, really iffy. August movie reviewer. Ayo, just stopping in. Hey, thanks. That's what's up. I appreciate it.
Hey,
Ghost
what's up,
Fanatic, what's
August?
going on, man?
There you go,
Yeah.
Sid. But you know what's really funny? We sit here and argue, and yet we still can come to common grounds, calm down, get back on topic. It's a lot like Fate and Craven on the Stew Train.
Yeah.
We're just so passionate.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's just all it is. It's passion. It's not fucking anger. It's not animosity. It's just fucking
Well, some
passion.
of it is
We
anger because I
all
don't
believe,
want to see that because I've seen it enough. Every time they put in a character
we
like
all
that, they always
believe
turn evil.
we all believe in what we believe in, and that's what makes this beautiful. You know what I mean? We all have different opinions, and we all believe in what we believe in, and even if and the beautiful, even more beautiful thing about it is we can also see to a degree where one might be coming from as well. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. Like that's why I love this community, man. That's why I love doing what I do. That's
But
why
you know what?
what I love. Why I love doing what we do.
But here's an interesting theory. What if we do find out they're working together, but not in the way we think? What if the whole time, within, say, a last year, maybe we find out they've been texting and they've been trying to rekindle their friendship because of how Christina is, and we see she didn't show up when Tara got attacked? What if they wanted to rekindle that, and we find out they're now going to work together, try to build up that family?
That would make sense. That would make sense, especially with Tara being in the hospital while Wes is the one to reach out to her. Because I've seen a lot of people out there were like, "Oh, why was Wes the one to call? You know, Samantha? How did he have her number?" And
she
all
was
that?
just getting
And I'm
death
like, she
threats
used to
from
be his
Amber's phone.
babysitter. And I'm like, she used to be his babysitter, and of course, yeah, she used to be his babysitter. But of
I got
course,
it mixed up.
if he's friends with Tara, and just in case of an emergency, I'm all but certain he would have Samantha's number, especially she obviously didn't change her number since she left Woodsboro and stuff. So that is not, that's not a bad idea. They would obviously have to clear that up though, because remember in 5, when Sam's breaking shit down to her, Tara screams at her and says, I don't hear or see from you for 5 years, and then you come and lay this shit on me. You know what I mean? So they would have to clean that up in order, for that to happen. But I wouldn't mind that, you know what I mean, and stuff, but they would have to clean that up.
Not really.
Wait, in order for
not
what
really.
to happen?
If Wes seems to always be hanging out with them, he could have just been using the phone to try to rekindle them. Maybe he saw it was affecting Tara.
Which is interesting that you say that, which is what maybe could have been the reason why Wes and Tara fell out. We didn't get the dialogue that much as to Wes and Tara's relationship, but there was something there a little bit, obviously. You know what I mean? Which is why they kept cracking jokes on Wes about Tara. Who's to say there wasn't something there? Maybe Wes was saying to Tara, hey, you need to reach out to your sister, that's your sister, you need to talk to her. Tara was like, no, you know what I mean? Maybe no, she won't, I don't want nothing to do with her. And maybe Wes was the one that could have done that. And Tara saw that and that's why she pushed away from Wes. You know what I mean? That's an interesting take for sure. You know what I mean? Because that's like Jordan said earlier, we had 30 minutes that was cut out of the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and only a couple deleted scenes that didn't add up to all the 30 minutes that were taken out.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of those deleted scenes, they were good to be deleted because they didn't need to be in the movie. You know what I mean? I really wish the police scene though with Judy and Dewey was in the movie.
Yeah.
I really wish that. I wish that for the simple fact is not only did we get that scene, we get to see Kirby's missing fucking picture in the background. Now that's the thing too, guys. So
right.
let's talk about Kirby, right?
Well, then it wouldn't make sense, right?
Huh?
If the missing poster was there, it wouldn't make sense because we're assuming she's not going to be missing in Scream 6.
Yeah, that's going to really throw off the whole story thing for 6.
Yeah, so I think that's not canon anymore.
I mean,
then again, neither is Neil Prescott's death mentioned in 4. And but that's a deleted scene.
And they're talking about that he could possibly. Well, now that Nev ain't coming back, I don't know how much of that possibility that.
Yeah, I don't see that really happening anytime.
There was rumors coming out that you could see Neil Prescott again, and all that. But what if? All right, because we really don't know 100% what they're going to do with Kirby. You know what I mean? What if the beginning of the movie, what if she is missing? I hope not. I hope they leave that out because that is a deleted scene. But what if they did go in that direction? How would y'all feel about that? I wouldn't like it because I don't think it would make sense. But
I don't like it either.
Because then I feel like you would have to do so much fucking explaining as to who fucking kidnapped her. What are they doing? Is she still alive? What are you doing with her? What is the purpose in keeping her alive if you are just holding her hostage or whatnot? I wouldn't like that. And I damn sure don't want to see her killed in the opening scene. Now, let me ask you guys this. All right, so let's get off that whole fucking thing because, like Jordan says, that's not even canon or whatever. That shit got tossed in the fucking trash full of flames or whatever.
But it's kind of confirmed that she's not going to be a kill because.
What if they kill her in the opening scene, even with Nev not coming back?
Listen, because Jenna, remember, she said, Craven mentioned this, she literally said, redemption. She can't have redemption if she dies in the opening. Because she specifically said redemption. So she's definitely not dying.
But Kirby doesn't need redemption, though, either. Redemption is for someone that's done wrong. I don't get the wording in that. Because it's not like Kirby was a Ghostface killer or anything.
Exactly.
At least that we know of. Maybe.
No, what if we
find out in the opening that somewhere Kirby was the killer in 4?
No, did you read that fucking article or whatever? That in the article that I read in Variety, and it's funny that you said that they fucking they misprint articles or they have a habit of fucking up articles or whatever. because that was the first article I read after we got off the stream early or whatever. And I looked at that and it said that Hayden Panettiere will reprise her role from Scream 4 as Ghostface.
Oh God! If she's Ghostface and that was announced because of that, I'm gonna be.
I looked at that and I said, "What the fuck are y'all doing?" Yeah, that's what they put in the article. It said she is reprising her role as Ghostface. That's what it said.
Bro,
now,
what the fuck?
Now, if we want to talk about redemption, Hank Loomis could have redemption in this.
Right, because he's also the one who started it. Remember, with Maureen.
Where do you think he is? Do you think he's going to be where they're going to be at?
Well, it's possible. I'd imagine after everything that would have come out, he'd probably be shunned by half the community, and he'd want to move.
Do you think he would go looking for his granddaughter?
That's possible too.
He could come back to meet Sam.
All right, let's check out some of these cats. Dino says, "Hanging in there, guys. Thanks for asking." Ghostface Fanatic, I think it would be cool to see some kind of Randy tape or a Randy flashback scene. Randy needs more tribute. I wouldn't be opposed to that, as long as it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
you better not be calling out like Sam, Tara, Mindy, or Chad by name, because ain't no way Randy would have known what these people's names would have been.
Yeah.
If I hear that, I'm walking out pissed off.
I mean, unless he would sit there and make a tape like this is for the new generation. You know what I mean? And don't reference any names. He just references the new generation as a whole.
No, that's why I said he better not mention any names, because how the hell would he know who Mindy is or Chad?
Yeah.
Wouldn't make any sense.
That could work. That could work if it's with the whole new generation thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, he wouldn't know obviously Mindy and Chad because they weren't even born yet. Or whatever. Because Ghostface says because Randy was great, my favorite character. No, he definitely was great, and I do agree with you that he did die too soon. You know what I mean? But
hey, yes and no.
Yeah, I used to be a huge fan of Randy, but now I don't care that he passed in Scream 2. Like, I mean, he was cool, you know, but I mean, I would put other characters above him, you know, Sidney, Stu, Gail, Dewey. Yeah. He's one of them,
But also, you have to stop to think at that time. If we would have still had Randy alive, things probably would have turned out different, and we might not have the same franchise we have now.
That is very, very true. That is very, very true. I feel like if there was a lot of things that played out differently, this could have been.
Plus, also, Randy set his own death up by bringing up that the death toll has to be higher, more bodies, more gore.
Well, yeah. Plus, he pissed Mrs. Loomis off by calling fucking Billy by calling him a rat-looking, over-repressed mama's boy.
Yeah. So everybody's saying he died early. He technically got what he deserved.
I'm not gonna lie. I love Mrs. Loomis's line in reference to Randy. She said Randy still spoke poorly of Billy, and I got a little knife happy. I was like, dude, he's hard as fuck for that. As much as I like Randy, like, I mean, he walked right in, and that's the irony of his death. He walked right into his own death.
Yeah,
he walked.
So really, he didn't die too early.
Hey, I agree, Dino. Yeah, Dino.
Red Reaper, what's going on? Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Dino says, with Nev not signing on, I'm guessing there is no way Gail gets killed now. I feel like if they kill Gail, fans will riot.
He might not even return at this point.
If she returns, I still say she's going to die. I think Kirby's going to be
too. I think she should.
Just because of the comments Jenna made, especially with Kirby, as much as the redemption thing makes no damn sense with that. But I think Kirby's going to be a higher priority in this series. You can easily write her to be different after 4, so they can kind of put their own spin on that character. Gail, you really can't change much up other than with no Dewey now. There'll be a little change, but it'd still be the same Gail.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So I see Kurt. I still say we should get Gail getting a phone call in the opening. Ghostface kills pretty much the majority of people in the news studio, and then we start the actual film.
I mean, in all honesty, I feel like, I agree. Gail will still die in this movie, and I did a video saying that I feel like this franchise, with how they did Dewey, this new Scream trilogy anyway, it's kind of like an anthology series for the OG3 or whatever, in terms of Bill. I mean, if you look at it, out of the OG3, Dewey got the most runtime in 5. We got more backstory from Dewey. You know what I mean? In 6, we were led to believe that Gail was going to have a big role. She still could have a big role or some type of substantial role if she is signed. And if they kill her off, I feel like that would make that anthology series look even more like to basically be an anthology series of killing off the original characters, except Cindy, except her. She's like the exception or whatever and shit like that. But, and I even said this in the video or whatever, if that's the route that they go with killing Gail, do we believe they're gonna ever kill Cindy? No, she even said she can't die. But can you make us think it could happen and make it believable? Yes. You know what I mean? Which I wouldn't be opposed to that. You know what I mean? Now that obviously puts a damper on things. I mean, if we don't know if Nev is ever going to come back now, you know what I mean? So that could put a damper on that, but I'm holding out hope for 7. I'm hoping they didn't burn the bridges. So, you know what I mean? But I do agree that Gail will die. She will die in this movie. And in all honesty, I kind of feel like she has to. You know what I mean? Like, we say it all the time. We want them to get different. And even Fate says it. Radio silent. Gail, Dewey wasn't a radio silence character. Gail isn't a radio silence character neither. So, I mean, it's not impossible to think they'll kill her off. And in all honesty, I kind of want to see it.
Just saying, she annoying as fuck, bro.
I kind of want to see it. Because in all honesty, let's really be honest.
She's annoying, bro.
Well, honestly, see, I got a soft spot for Gail like you. You know what I mean? I got a soft spot for Courtney. But let's really be honest, though. In all honesty, outside of Billy and Roman and Stu with the original shit, Gail is the one who put this story on a worldwide scale. She's the one who wrote the book on it. She's the one who had to make a movie about it. So if you want to blame somebody else for a lot of the shit that happened, Gail was right at the end of 5. I should have never made that fucking book.
Yeah, but not just that. You can easily write in, she wants to pretty much forget what happened in 5. She's not writing a book on it or anything. That's going to piss off Stu a lot more than people realize. See, while I get everybody wants to say, oh, he'd be going after Sid, that was more Billy's thing. Yeah, he had a thing for Sid, but when you think about it, he's more known for wanting to be seen and remembered. Mm-hmm. Even if Tara's not involved, the way that opening call went, as soon as she only said Billy, that snapped. Like, he just went crazy. He's like,
I just want Sid's reaction to him being alive. That's all I want.
I mean,
that's literally all I want out of that whole dialogue. I just want to see Cindy's reaction to him being alive. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But have you guys seen like the Who Killed Who? Like the Scream 5? Like where, Zach Cherry?
Yeah, I like Zach. I have not watched that video yet.
Bro, watch it. It's dope. Like, he breaks down who called who and everything, bro. So, I think that was definitely Richie because he even breaks down stuff. Like, the way he breaks down stuff, like, that was definitely Richie, I think, on the phone with Tara.
On the phone with Tara. Well, then this is the thing. This is the argument you can make with that. Who is attacking Tara? I mean, because if Richie's all right, if Richie's on the phone, it has to be somebody else that's attacking Tara. Because the same person being on the phone while running after Tara, they're gonna be out of breath.
Right.
You know what I mean, they're gonna be out of breath. You know what I mean? So,
in my opinion, that it's the same Ghostface.
I think personally, it was Richie and Stu there. You know what I mean? I think you can flip flop who was on the phone. I feel like it was more Stu than Richie. You know what I mean? But I know for sure that it wasn't Amber. For the simple fact is that killer in that hospital scene while stalking Tara or whatever, when on the phone with Sam, they said to Sam, or choose Tara, and I'll make sure I hit all the organs I missed the last time.
That was Amber, bro.
Whatever.
Like
that was a guy who attacked Tara. It wasn't.
Bro,
it wasn't.
Look, listen. Okay, Nev even said herself, Ghostface is. You got to treat Ghostface basically as its own character. There's way too many inconsistencies, regardless. You know what I'm saying? So it's meant. It was meant to be Amber. Like, bro. Again, bro. Like, whenever you can, bro, you should watch that video. He breaks it down really well. Like, it's definitely Amber. I just don't think it makes sense, man. I think it's just like stretching it too much to me, you know, for it to be Stu.
I feel like this. I get it that Ghostface is supposed to be like its own entity and its own character, but we're still supposed to be the characters underneath the mask. You're still supposed to make it believable. And I am sorry. I'm not buying.
Couldn't have been anybody else.
Like
Dewey was scrapping her.
This is why I don't buy it was Amber who killed Dewey, because this is my whole thing. You mean to tell me with both hands on the knife, coming full force down, man, full force, and he still overpowered her, but she can take one hand and gut all that tissue up all like that? I'm not buying it, man.
Plot hole at worst, bro. Plot hole at worst. It was meant to be Amber. Because, I mean, dude, like, he's not flipping Stu. Like Stu would have killed him. Like, it only makes sense for it to be Dewey. It literally only makes sense for it to be Amber. Because she was getting, like, he was mopping the floor with her. He had all the damage done to him already. You know, he's an old man. So, I mean, dude, if it was Stu, I feel like you would have easily got him. And if it was anybody.
Stu's older now too. Stu's older now too.
I know, bro, but then
maybe some of that strength from '96 ain't there no more, man. Like
Father Tom even the camera angles, like apparently, you know, Blucka, he actually said that the shot of, you know, Amber standing over Dewey, that was actually Mikey Madison. It could be because of camera angles, even though the person looks big. But the thing is, Stu, like, dude is 6', bro. If you see how big Matthew Willard is, bro, dude is tall, bro. He's big.
Oh no, bro. I got a picture with him. I stood right next to him. No, he's tall.
Yeah, Dewey flipped Ghostface, bro. Like, he was mopping the floor with Ghostface.
But at the same time, we also know Stu was always kind of clumsy.
Well, yeah, but sure, but
even Cindy was able to fight off Stu.
Well, I mean, that was his final stand. He was already almost bled out, though.
Like, he's talking about in the house.
I'm talking about in the initial scene too, when in the house. Yeah.
Well, yeah. He, you know, she kicked like his leg or something.
It took him to headbutt her to subdue her because she was giving him a run. He couldn't even ragdoll her. Like, he had to take his head and headbutt her in order to get her to chill. Like, yeah. I mean, I just feel like, and this is my thing too. And I've actually went back in the original Scream and loaded up, like, because I'm about to say Jamie's 6 foot. Jamie's 6 foot, so he's about 2 inches taller than Dave. I always say that's around the same height. In all honesty, when you look at them in close camera angles, Matt and him look around the same height because of how tight the cameras are in. I always say it. Cameras can make a bigger motherfucker look small just as much as a fucking smaller motherfucker look bigger than what they are. You know what I mean? You see it in football and basketball all the time. You know what I mean? And all the time. You got a guy who's 6'10" standing next to a 7'2" guy, but in all honesty, because of how the cameras look, they look the same height.
Yeah. Bro, I just don't get, like, especially like with all the evidence like that they put in the film that it was, you know, Amber and just all the other stuff, bro. I don't get people's like obsession with like putting them into certain plot points. Like, it just doesn't make sense for that to be Stu. Like, even the dialogue, bro. Like, that is Amber talking.
That's the only one for me. Huh? Other than the beginning, that's the only scene for me that where I was definitive for me that I feel like that was Stu. based on the strength and everything. Like that, bro, you gotta have that takes strength to cut through that
I
type
know,
of
bro.
issue, bro. Like
again, plot hole
like,
at worst, bro. You
yeah,
know what
it
I'm
could
saying?
be.
In my
It
opinion.
could be. It could be.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but see, also something
from
you're
that.
also feeling, even if it's not Stu, it's pretty much well established they're going to go a cult route.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
easy
said
to
what?
have
Anybody. It could have been anybody.
Doesn't have to be Stu.
Yeah,
It's
it
true.
could have been anybody.
They've
but
already established a cult because Richie
But they
and
have
Amber
killing
found
styles, bro. Like it's been compared now. Like there was a specific way like each killer
Amber
like
has
killed.
not gutted anyone in that film.
Well, yeah, I know, bro, but that was a special scene. That was actually a scene that was even came from like a Call of Duty like
Okay, how would it be an
finisher.
honor for Amber to kill Dewey?
Because, bro, she was a fan. Dude, that was literally her thing. Like, it wouldn't make sense for Stu to say that, I don't think, bro. Like, she literally, it was
Stu
like, it's an
killed
honor. You
Tatum.
somebody. Huh?
Who is Tatum's brother? Oh, that's right, Dewey, who was dating Tatum.
Bro,
Marcus,
it just doesn't make
Marcus,
sense.
was it Billy or Stu that was dating Tatum? Could you
Bro, it just doesn't make
help
sense.
me remember?
Stu.
And thank
Bro,
you.
there's no reason he would say it's an honor. It makes more sense
Yes,
for Amber.
yes, yeah, Jordan. This is where I kind of disagree with that, because think about it this way. Let's say if it is Stu, right? We know Stu is the one who stabbed Dewey in the back in '96 and didn't finish the job. It would be, think about how the killer said, yes, today. Like,
Because,
yes,
bro,
I got
he said
you.
not
I
today.
finally got you after all these years. After all these years, and yes, it's an honor to finally kill you because it means that much to me. You know what I mean?
Bro,
To
Dewey literally said not today. That's why he said yes. That's why Amber said yes today, because Dewey said not. Like, if you go back to that scene,
you can
I
easily make
said
that
it's
case.
an
You
honor.
can make that case.
You
You
can't
can
argue
make
with
that
the
case
fan.
for Stu too because of him not killing him and not being able to kill him in '96. You can make that case for Stu too.
but it's
Yes.
a stretch, bro,
Hey.
because it's literally a response to what freaking Dewey said, bro. He literally said not today, and then flipped Ghostface, and then
Stu,
then he was
Stu,
like,
so Stu couldn't have said that.
bro, I'm not
What?
saying that he couldn't have, bro. It just doesn't make sense, man. Like, even the way that same Ghostface, that had to have been the same Ghostface the entire time because Richie was accounted for, and the Ghostface was saying stuff that only Amber would say. It doesn't make sense for Stu to be angry at Sam. Like, just pay attention to the nuances, to the way that Ghostface is talking in that scene.
Who
Sam.
is Stu's best friend? Billy. Who is Sam seeing in her head? Billy.
Billy, yeah.
Stu is pissed off. He feels it should be him seeing Billy, not her. He knew him. She didn't know him at all.
Because
But
of
I
the
think
connection,
it's a stretch, man.
because of that connection and all that. But not even just that or whatever, is you could easily sit there and be mad at Sam because her dad gets all the credit for things that he helped him with. You know what I mean? He could easily be mad at Sam for that. You know what I mean?
Sure, bro,
Now,
but it's a stretch, man. I don't know.
No,
Like,
it's
it
not.
stretch.
Listen
It's a
now,
stretch
Stu is
that I
on
think
that
they're
phone
going
call.
to.
He's pissed that he's not
It's a
remembered.
stretch I think they're going to be able to make it work. I do. I think they can make it work, man. I feel like this, Jordan. You don't throw all these Stu references. They can say, "Oh, it was fan service," all they want. That's bullshit.
They were trolling, bro.
You know what I mean? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You know what I mean? I do not believe it. I don't believe they were trolling.
Wait, so
These
Jordan,
guys-
the minute they start bringing up Stu to actually make an argument, you're finding it bullshit.
Good.
But yet they only brought up Stu twice in the other 4 films, and you claim he's dead. So when they make an argument in case, all of a sudden it's bull. I'm sorry, I'm not buying that.
Bro, it just doesn't. I don't get it, bro. Like, it just doesn't.
And
seem
also,
like
you're
it.
telling me that they could have easily put Stu in that same thing with the cult thing. No, they couldn't. The whole thing with Columbine really messed that up. The studio
they could have rewrote something. Like,
no,
anything.
because the cult thing was the only thing that would have worked with Stu in that situation. I'm sorry.
I have to agree,
bro.
because just given you got to give it a situation, because I mean, he would have to be locked up. You know what I mean? He would get fan mail because we know, and this is real life. Look how many fucking fans Manson had. You know how many wives he's had? So it's not impossible to think that from prison, while receiving all this fan mail, this motherfucker would have put that together. You know what I mean? Especially if you ever watched The Following with Kevin Bacon, that
Yeah, the
Kevin
original
Williamson
Scream
did?
3 script, pretty much.
Bro, watch that series. You know, binge watch that shit. And what you're gonna see is basically what Kevin Williams' idea was for Stu and Scream 3. And
Oh yeah,
I
I
think,
know what it was, but
oh,
yeah.
that would have been phenomenal. And I think that's what we're getting now. He's back,
Good.
Jordan. He's back
Bro,
like
no, he's
back,
not, bro.
Jordan.
Listen, bro. In 2020, bro, when I first saw the first Stu coming back Dairy video, trust me, I wanted him back even more. Like, you guys think you want him back, bro. I literally was all for it, but man, just like thinking about it just doesn't make any sense, bro. It really does not. Like, they would have to, like, I don't know, bro. It's like it's a huge stretch. It
Yeah, but
really
so
is,
would
bro.
bringing Jill
You
back, but
feel
yet
like they
you're on
just
that.
have,
Yeah,
you
it
feel
would.
like they have to go through a lot of hoops.
She, like, realistically, like, I'm half joking. Like, they could easily do that. It would just be a couple things they would have to rewrite. But yeah, they're not gonna bring back Jill, I don't think. But dude, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense for it to be Stu. I don't know, bro. Like, I've
Wait
gone
till
through
June
all the
18th and
videos.
you're going to change your tune.
Huh?
Wait till June 18th and you'll change your tune.
Bro,
Yeah,
I
June
literally
18th.
won't, bro, because I
People-
know all the arguments. It doesn't
No,
make
you
any
haven't.
sense.
You haven't heard everything yet. There's a
Bro,
lot of new things coming out in that video.
I will say this. I am
okay,
interested.
sure, but
I'm not gonna lie. I do think that's a cool trailer they put together, and I am interested to see what they're gonna put together. I'm not gonna lie.
oh yeah, I gotta look at the trailer. But yeah.
It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I was entertained. I was.
Because you think it's just Craven going to be spewing things. No, he's got a lot of people coming out with things on there. You're going to hear a lot of different perspectives. It's not just Craven.
Okay, so let's get to some of these comments.
Yeah, bro. I think I might put together another video and like research, try to see if there's any actual way that it could be. It just doesn't make any sense though. At this point,
That's
it doesn't.
my opinion, but he should have died in Scream 2. I think that he should have been in Scream 3 or 4. Oh, you're talking about Randy Ghostface. I got you. I mean, yeah, everybody has their opinion, you know what I mean? I do got love for Randy, you know what I mean? But unfortunately he didn't make it, you know what I mean? And
well,
you know what
while I would agree, then he shouldn't have set himself up and even be bad at remembering a movie line from Aliens.
Damn, that is true.
Oh god.
I love how Jamie put that on his YouTube and talked about that. I love that.
What did he say about that?
He was like, yo, so you know that scene with me and Joshua Jackson, and he replayed it. He was like, well, somebody actually emailed me or sent me a message in my Instagram and was like, when Randy's supposed to be the guru of movies, but he doesn't even know the lines or whatever. He said, and I looked this shit up and holy shit, I did get the line wrong. And shit, like he was like Randy, like basically Randy did. He said Joshua was right. He was basically laughing about it. He thought it was fucking hilarious.
So that wasn't intentional, bro?
No.
That
wasn't intentional.
Oh god.
And the crazy thing is the guy who played the professor, the cinema professor, is one of Jamie Kennedy's good friends who got him into stand-up comedy. He's a comedian.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's the one who got Jamie into stand-up. Which I don't know if you ever watched any of Jamie's stand-ups, but he's fucking hilarious.
Mm.
Yeah. He's funny. He is funny. He's funny as hell.
Hmm. Were they like from a while ago that he used to do them a lot, or does he do them now?
Not as much anymore. He's actually more devoted to his YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Like he started that bad boy up, and like now he's like devoted it to like basically making it about like telling stories about his career. He literally started damn near crying about them putting Randy in, as in, in the picture of Randy in the film. He was like, I was so honored for them to do that. You could just see him like starting to water up a little bit and shit like that. Like He's just been really going hard on his YouTube channel. He sells merch on there and everything. I want me a Malibu's Most Wanted shirt that says "Don't be hating" on the back. I want that. Ghostface Fanatic says every has a different opinion. I just think Randy was a great character. I just think he should have died. He shouldn't have died in Scream 2. He could have in Scream 3, but would have loved to see him in Scream 4. Yeah, for sure, man. Everybody has a different opinion and stuff. And yeah, Randy, Jamie's that dude, man. I got a picture with Jamie. Really, really good fucking dude, man. Awesome guy. Okay, so I'm a little bit behind. Also, with Nev not signing on, Dino says, also, with Nev not signing on, Radio Silence has to make Scream 6 a banger. I agree. This is their challenge to make this movie their own and put their own imprint on it. The ball is in their court. Without Cindy, they have to knock it out the park to bring the fans upset right now back. See, Dino, I don't even think it's even really bringing the fans back, because I feel like a lot of us anyway in our community was already expecting her not to be in this movie. You know what I mean? Like, I think we were already expecting that. So for us, it's more of how the circumstances came out and like how the circumstances sounded than it was actual like, oh, she's not in this movie. We already expected her not to be in this movie.
Right. I agree with that, but also this is more important for Spyglass and Paramount to keep your fucking nose out of it and let Radio Silence do what Radio Silence.
Let them work. Let them create. Let them fucking create. I agree with that. Let these guys.
You guys have to remember, they're only the writers and directors. Studios love to interfere and shit, and we already saw that with Nev not returning.
Wes showcased that in Scream 3.
Yeah.
He showed us that in Scream 3, how the fucking studios like to meddle.
But I agree. It is up to Radio Silence to do good, but also for Spyglass and Paramount to stay out of it.
Yeah. What did Roman say in Scream 3?
They're trying to fuck up my movie. They're trying to kill my movie.
Not only that, he said, all they told me to do is, all I wanted to do was a classic love story. And the studio said it was fine. All I had to do was make a scary movie for him. Now we're shut down and I am fucked. You know what I mean? Like, because the studio, look, it's so important. This guy wanted to create his own project, but the studio said, no, we want you to do this project first before you can even do the project you want to do. Like, even though that was obviously a work by Roman, that's still pivotal, to point out. Wes did a really good job pointing out the whole Weinsteins and studios in general's, overall gig and how they treat these directors and creators, for sure. And it's not, I feel like this, Dino, one way or another, we're going to see this movie because we want to see how Radio Silence does with this movie. So in terms of bringing the fans that are upset back, I don't think they're going to lose some fans, but it's like Bob did say earlier. At some point, Neve Campbell's either going to retire or she's going to pass. She's not going to be around for this franchise forever. We do have to move on at some point. It sucks with the circumstances, but we already expected her to move on now. You know what I mean? Me personally, as a fan of the character, but as a fan of the Scream franchise, I'm going to sit my ass in that theater because I want to see what these guys got cooking. I want to see if they're credible on their own and making Scream their own movie. That's just me. I know there's Neve Campbell fans and Cindy Prescott fans that will be like, oh my God, I'm not going to see this movie. Well, okay, that's cool. That's your choice. I will say this. I feel like then you're being more of a Neve fan than an actual fan of the franchise. And I'm not saying that's a problem. But they're two different things. Being a Scream fan and being a Cindy Prescott, Neve Campbell fan are two different things. It just is.
It is.
Yeah. And it comes down to a time you have to decide: are you a Scream fan or a Sydney fan?
Yeah,
but I just thought they should completely move off of everything in the past. Like, just give us a new story.
And Triple C is in the building, you guys. Triple C, Carrie Crave Cinema. You know what? I should go get a bottle of water and spray it in the air like Triple H, just as an homage to you, Carrie. I
Here.
should. Hold on. I'll go. We're
The
going to
cinema craves Carrie.
Oh, originally I was just kidding, but okay.
Bro, where you going? Where's he going, bro? Wait, where were you? What was you doing?
Carrie, this is for you, friend.
Okay.
Marcus.
Empty. It's empty. So
there you go, Carrie.
But no,
Hey,
I'll agree there, Carrie.
but-
but also, Radio Silence has to deal with Spyglass and Paramount, and with the whole Nev thing. I don't know. At least the Weinsteins kept Nev in the story. So I'm kind of torn between who really did worse. I mean, I'd rather have interference in my movie and keep the same cast. And
Carrie, that shower was great. It was really fun.
yeah, but my question
I
is,
hope
who
you
yelled
enjoyed
Marcus in the background? That's my question.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I just hope your cigarette didn't get ruined.
Oh no, it's still great. It's still intact.
Good.
But yeah, like it's definitely going to be interesting. So before we've already been gone for 2 fucking hours basically. Holy shit, that went fast. God damn.
yeah.
Well, me and you have gone what, like almost 4 hours now?
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
bro. You got to think, Bob, within the last 2 days, we've damn near done a full day worth of content. Like, we've done like 12 hours worth of live content.
With your channel, yes. I've kind of gone like 2.5 because we were also on Marcus's.
That's
I mean,
right.
not Marcus's, on Mavericks.
Mavericks.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry, I had M on the mind, just said your name.
No,
It's
you're
easy to
good.
mix them up when we're talking to you, you know?
Man, yeah, we've been putting in that work, man. We've been putting in that work for sure. Shit. Good. I'm glad you did enjoy it, Carrie. I did it just for you.
Yeah.
But so
Hey,
let's end it on this, guys. The state of the Scream franchise. Where do you guys think the state of the franchise is? Or do you feel positive about the direction, or do you feel negative? And then we're gonna end the stream at that.
So a little bit of both. Even though it seems like, bad news or whatever. Listen, if she doesn't come back again, I wanted that anyway, despite her being my favorite character, and I thought it was gonna happen anyway. Just it seems like you guys did as well. I think it's sort of going in a positive direction. I think they should move off of legacy characters and stuff like that and focus on the new cast of characters. And yeah, believe it or not, bro, listen, I love Stu. That's one of the reasons I don't want him to come back, is because I feel like it's going to be like a last 10-minute thing. And I definitely don't have faith in the writers to actually pull it off and there not be a bunch of holes. So I think they should I think it's going toward a positive direction where we're going to see something new and fresh instead of just the same thing over and over. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've said it myself. I personally, if you're going to bring Stu back, and this is also based on the premise because of Nev and 7, I felt like if they're going to bring him back, save him for 7. You know what I mean? But we don't know what they're going to do. You know what I mean? And especially with that character, because that article, I don't know if you read that article on Screen Rant, or whatever, that they felt, the person who wrote the article felt that this is the perfect time to bring Stu back because of it being outside of Woodsboro. And obviously Stu wouldn't be able to step foot in Woodsboro because, he'd be recognizable. So being this is a place he's not recognizable, he'd be able to roam, et cetera, et cetera. And this is a way that they could bring him back. I mean, now that Nev isn't in this movie, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you bring Stu back for 6 or 7. I just don't know. I want to see him back. We always say it. If you're going to do it right, properly execute it and do it right. Like, simple and plain. Like, I don't know how else we can really put it any further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about it, Bob? What is the state of the franchise?
At this point, it, even with the crap that Spyglass and Paramount pulled with Nev today, it's still looking up positive. I don't see, as much as it's ripping the Band-Aid off, it's like I said, sooner or later they'd have to, because it's the same argument with Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. You can't have the same guy. In real life, I'm sorry, people aren't immortal. Nev one day would have to move on, whether it was her retiring or unfortunately passing. However long this goes with them. You have to create new stories to be innovative. We kind of started getting that a little bit in 5, even though they're still trying to connect it to the 96 event. But they're still trying something new, and I only see the positive coming out of this. I'm not seeing too much negative right now.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, like I said, earlier, it wasn't so much that Nev isn't going to be in this movie. We already thought that. It was just the way the article read about the money and stuff. Hope that
Yeah.
Yeah.
if there is a story for her to come back in 7, hopefully they didn't burn that bridge. I am hoping. I mean, as far as the state of the franchise, I mean, I'm going to read Carrie's comment before I give my answer. Carrie says, I'm very nervous about Scream 6. To be honest, I will give it a chance nonetheless. I'm nervous, kind of wish they'd give Kevin Williams in the writer's chair again. I really do. I would like to see that. You know what I mean? But this is this is Radio Silence's chance. I'm optimistic. I don't know why. I'm optimistic they're going to be good. I don't know why.
Same.
Sometimes when you're faced with a certain amount of pressure and a certain amount of expectations, if you love what you do, you will exceed those expectations and you will breeze through that pressure. So now this is a challenge for them. No Nev, and obviously in Scream 6, we don't know if we're going to get Courtney at all. We might not, especially if both of them are not in this movie, even though Kirby's back. You know what I mean? Especially if those two aren't in this movie. Radio Silence, here's your shot. Here's your shot to make this baby your own. Like Al Pacino said, give me what you got. Give me it. Give me what you got. You know what I mean?
And if I'm being honest, bro, I don't even want her back in 7. I think they should move off completely. It gets silly when, Sydney's the focus of all of these movies. You know what I mean? It's not like, I don't know. It just doesn't. I think they should move off completely.
Yeah, because if we keep going back to the Sydney well, even if she's not directly involved by being chased, it's saying you're pretty much just giving in that she's pretty much doomed to be either the helper or she's going to keep continuing to have a bad life.
Yeah,
she has a family now. Like, there has to be a time you have to cut off and let Sydney just live.
Yeah, especially now that she's got a family and kids. And that was one of the big things when I made a video a couple months ago about Nev possibly not being in 6 and giving my reasons why it would make sense for her to be in 6. And man, I tell you, within the first hour, I got a good about maybe 4, 5, 6 comments that was like, how dare you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you said you were making a video about what?
I made a video about Nev a couple months ago about possibly not being in 6 and why it would make sense for her not to be in 6. And the minute that video uploaded, I shit you not, within like an hour, I had about 5, 6 comments from people who was like, "Oh man, how dare you? What are you thinking?" And this and this and this and that. And I'm just
It's
like,
ridiculous, man.
yeah, I'm just like, look, I get how you guys feel. You know what I mean? I love that character too, but at some point, especially, I said, my thing is this, especially with her being married with 2 kids, what sense would it make for her to keep coming the fuck out of parenting retirement to come help Sam?
Well, there is one specific thing I have in my head that would make it work, but
what, Stu?
No.
No.
What?
You know me and your theory about Sam and good old Sid.
Oh yeah. That one. But see,
you said
but
the
now
theory
that's
about
not going to happen.
Sam?
The odds of that happening are slim to none.
unless she comes
I'm
back
tired
in
of
7.
shit.
Unless she comes back in 7. Man, they just fucked up my whole theory.
They fucked up both of our theories.
Yeah,
Wait, so
both
what was the
they
theory
fucked
that you
it
were
all up.
referring to?
Huh?
So what was the theory that you were referring to?
I had made a video or whatever ever since this movie came out or whatever and stuff that I feel that Cindy is Samantha's real mother or whatever. And the reason why I believe so is because of the dialogue that we got in the hospital scene or whatever. If you look how Samantha treated her, it was like she was so nice to Gail when she met Gail. She was so nice to Dewey when she met Dewey. When she met Cindy, it was total bitch mode. You know what I mean? Then on top of that, now, and I also said this in the video because it cannot be accurate, but on screamfandom.com, which is like the Wikipedia for like all things Scream, characters, all this and that, I had found something that I thought was very, very interesting, that it said that Neil Prescott possibly has 3, not 2, 3 grandchildren. So I said, okay, well, let's just go with the premise of the possibility. Who the fuck else would be the third grandchild? He has no other grandchildren. He has no other kids. Sid is his only child. Where's that third grandbaby come from? If he does have a third grandchild, because remember, Scream 2, it was only
Where's his other
that
two?
Cindy has 2 kids. Cindy has 2 kids. Remember, she referenced that in Scream 5. So my whole thing is this: if Neil Prescott is supposedly has 3 grandkids, where's the other grandkid coming? Oh, that's right, the night of 1996 when Billy popped that cherry. And what happened? Cindy didn't want the stigma of living with that child because that's Billy's child on her head for the rest of her life. So what did she do? She gave it up for adoption. Where does Christina Carpenter come into play? Well, there's 2 suggestions. Bob came up with the suggestion that, hey, what if Cindy and Christina were friends and that Cindy entrusted Christina to raise Samantha? You know what I mean? That we didn't see, obviously.
Or
And
Sydney has
it was her godmother.
Yeah, and Christina is a real
Sydney.
godmother. Or Christina, being that obviously in the diaries, at least for what Sam kind of made it sound like, was kind of obsessed with Billy, found out that, Cindy was pregnant, got rid of the kid, and decided to adopt Sam because she wanted to have a part of Billy.
Yeah, or Sydney has a secret sister who has a kid, and that's Neil's third grandchild.
Are you saying Maureen has another baby out there? Like, I mean, because Neil,
Maybe.
Neil don't have no other kids other than Sydney. You know what I mean? She's the only kid.
I feel you.
I mean, unless I mean, they could, because this is the thing about Neil Prescott. We knew he knew that Maureen was cheating on him. He was a businessman. He was out of town a lot. Who's to say he wasn't cheating on Maureen too?
Yeah, that does make sense. That does make sense.
You know what I mean? Like, there's ways you can go with that. You know what I mean? For sure.
Yeah,
But
so he's like not so innocent like we thought.
that really just caught my eye on that shit. And I just the dialogue, like I said, with Cindy knowing who Sam was without Dewey or Gail tipping her off. And then the thing that really caught me was when Sam was like, yeah, I'm Billy's daughter. Sorry if that's weird for you. And Cindy's like, no. Like the way she tilted her head and gave her that, like, it was like emotion behind it. And the thing that bothered me too, it's like Cindy didn't even count Sam as a red herring at all. You are the queen of this. You know that anybody could be a suspect. Yet it seemed to me she did not even see Samantha as a suspect. That's
Which
what really
then proves my theory can be more accurate than people realize. Sydney has gone through it several times. She would know a killer. And you think about it. So that's then that would prove it.
Wait, hold on. I just thought about it, bro. Sydney couldn't be Sam's mom because Billy is the dad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they're 2 different races, remember?
Listen, we don't know what ancestry that really Billy or Cindy is. For all we know, they could have any type of ancestry that's ethnicity in them and stuff like that. That's not impossible. You know what I mean? And also keep in mind, and I actually did my due diligence on that, did some research to see if maybe Neil Prescott or Lynn McCree had ethnicity in them. And though Lynn McCree isn't obviously Hispanic, she is Hawaiian. And off her sight, we would not think that. You know what I mean? She's Hawaiian. She is Hawaiian. So, like, there's ways you can work around that and stuff in terms of, why Samantha basically Mexican or whatever this and that. For all we know, fucking Cindy, Neil Prescott, for all we know, the character is Mexican. I'm half Puerto Rican. I've seen plenty of white fucking Puerto Ricans that speak full-blown Spanish, Mexican. I've seen it. Like, so it's not impossible. You know what I mean?
It's not impossible.
That's not impossible to make that happen and stuff. And I did. Well, now, like, I don't know. It kind of fucked the theory up, but I'm going to keep hope for it. But I just felt like with the dialogue that we got between Sam and Cindy, and the fact that what I found and stuff like that, and the fact that it's not impossible to think, what if Cindy did get pregnant after 96, after losing her virginity to Billy? It's not impossible to think. You know what I mean? And also,
how long was it between Scream 1 and 2 again?
I think it was like, I want to say the filming itself was like a year. But I want to say, in terms of like timeline, I want to say it was maybe 2 years. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 2. So it would give Cindy, it would give her enough time. It would give her enough time to have that baby, get rid of it, and decide if she wants to go to college or not. Because see, this is another thing too, though. I will say this: I would have to go back and watch. We didn't even get what class Cindy was. Was she a freshman? Was she a sophomore? Was she a junior? We didn't get that. We just knew she was at college. You know what I mean? Right. So, you know what I mean? They kind of fucked it up, but I'm keeping hope alive for it because I think me and Bob both think there's some good meat on that bone. That, for sure. There's some good meat on that bone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! See, look, you see Carrie coming through in a clutch. Mm-hmm. I have Native American in my blood. Do I look like it? Ghosty does have a point. No, you don't, honestly, Carrie.
Yeah, but then the only complaint I have then is normally the male is going to have the dominant thing. As far well, granted, we don't know anything about Billy's past and all of that. He is predominantly white. Ned is more predominantly white. You're going to have a little plot point on how Sam came out looking more Hispanic.
She hit the sauna.
Well, you could, but then you're really going to go off. And also, the other thing is...
No, I don't think they'd make that twist, if I'm being honest.
No, that's just me being fucking stupid.
Well, no, not that.
But you could make an interesting twist, even with my own theory. You could still have Christina being the mother and Sydney was the godmother. You still could do that. Because if she read on, maybe we would have found something. What if we find out that she wasn't obsessed with Billy? What if we find out Billy was obsessed with her because Sid wasn't giving any attention to Billy? What if it was more of a mind manipulating thing?
Yeah, she wasn't giving up that cuckoo. Billy got tired of waiting around. You know what I mean? And it's so funny. Giving up the pug. Yeah, for real. And I don't know if you've seen from Jordan, Andrea Neveo is apparently supposedly rumored to be a part of the cast. And a lot of us think that she has a potential to be Christina Carpenter. And the reason why is because, bro, you have to look her up. She looks like a Spanish Neve Campbell. Dead ass.
Oh yeah, I think somebody did.
Bro,
yeah,
bro, like it's crazy. And looking at that, it's like, okay, you could see why Billy made it went for her because she kind of looks like Cindy a little bit.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
Of course, Cindy wasn't giving up the cuckoo. You know what I mean? So,
yep.
He got tired of he was tired of waiting. I I knew it when you could tell when he was in the video store with those two other girls. My boy was he was smooth pimping. He wasn't waiting around for that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he wasn't. He was going out doing his thing. Carrie goes, I'm just being honest. Like,
hey, I just got a tweet. It says cameras will officially start rolling for Scream 6 today.
Oh,
how many hours ago was that? Like, did it
I don't
come
know.
out
Let
just
me
now?
check.
I need to light my cigarette on that.
I mean, I just got it. So let me check. Damn. Here, let me. Fuck. Here, hold on. Twitter.
Yeah, and I want to put this up too. See, and yeah, Carrie, I agree with that. You know what I mean? Maybe that's why Christina has been a horrible mom because she's not Sam's real mom.
Yeah, but then that leads in the question about Tara then, because from what we've seen just by her not showing up, she's been a horrible mother to Tara as well.
Oh yeah, she's just a piece of shit in general.
So then that's going to lead questions with that. Then people might speculate on that as well. So
yeah,
let's see what Radio Silence can do, and let's hope that Spyglass and Paramount just let Radio Silence do Radio Silence, because we know Radio Silence can do good movies.
Oh hell yeah, absolutely. Ready or Not was great, in my opinion. I liked it a lot. I had fun with that movie.
Yeah, so
Like,
let's
I
hold
still need
out
to
hope.
watch it. But this is not the.
And not just even that. Just we always say it all the time. Let these creators create. Let these guys bring their own freshness.
Y'all couldn't even see me. Damn.
I can't see you. Pull the John Cena on us, huh?
Yeah, damn it.
Let's just hope there's more wide shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I will say this. You know who I wish they would bring back, and it's not even a character or nothing. It's actually somebody like a part of like the crew. Bring back Marcos Beltrami for the score, please. Please. I need the original Scream score back in this franchise. Like this new shit is just it's okay, but it's not. It doesn't capture the same feel for me.
Yeah, but to be fair, we didn't get any chase scenes to really implement. Let's see if we get one in there with this guy first before we make that judgment. I'd rather give the guy a fair shake and see what it would sound like if we do have the chase first. Now, if it's bad with the chase scene, then yes, I'm on board.
Yes, absolutely. We definitely need
found the tweet.
I think on top of character development, I think that's like our number 2 thing we're begging them. You know what I mean? To do.
No, it is delayed. Never mind.
Oh, okay. So it is delayed.
I believe so. Because there was somebody that corrected the tweet.
Paramount's busting open them piggy banks right now.
Yeah, but that has me worried as well. What if, in order for them to compensate Nev coming back, what if they now interfere and make the story more around her? That's got me a little getting paranoid. That's getting me a little freaked out. And I don't want Nev. I mean, under the circumstances, I didn't want Nev out like that. But now it's got me a little more worried where the story could go.
Yes, Carrie. Before we head out, Carrie, I'll fill you in. Before we got on the stream, me and Bob were doing the Rocky Horror Picture Show watch party. Excuse me, with Val. And Jen was in the chat with us. And Jen, came out and said that filming has been delayed because there's a rumor going around that now Paramount and Spyglass is trying to renegotiate with Nev. That's why filming has been delayed. That's the rumor going around. And obviously I'm gonna take it as true because I don't think you would stop filming if that's not true. If you were fully sold on going through with this movie without her, you would have just started filming today. So unfortunately, I mean, I'm going to say unfortunately, but I do think that they are trying to reach out to Nev on a bigger number for this movie. However, I'm with you guys because I feel like we already kind of thought she wasn't going to be in this movie. You know what I mean? So it's like, man. Like I said, I know I got hot earlier, but it was just more on the whole premise on how she was approached or how it looked like she was approached. I already
Yeah.
expect her to be out of this movie. So it's
Yeah.
like I said, even if she's in it for 5 minutes, even 30 seconds, that's 30 seconds of development we could use for somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and save her for the next one if you want to bring her back. If the story matches up, if the story don't match up, I don't want her back. I hate to
Okay.
say that. The
I got
story's got to match up.
a question for you guys. What if Radio Silence only wanted like a 30-second thing at the end where she was getting a phone call setting up for the whole Stu thing in 7? Okay, no, let me finish.
I like
That was the speculation. So Radio Silence was fine without doing one with Nev Campbell and all of that. She sees a deal on the table, doesn't like it, feels like maybe it's lowballing her or that's all the budget they have. Either or, depending on your views. What if now the studio is going to interfere because they want to keep Nev, and that whole premise of what we might have had goes right out the window? What do you guys think? Do you think fans are actually going to blame Radio Silence, or do you think they might realize that it falls on the studios? Because some people I've seen have just been flat out blaming Radio Silence for Nev's not appearing so far.
Well, yeah, I even made that mistake earlier.
Well, no, I understood. You were in anger. But
Yeah,
I was watching someone else's, and I had said the same thing. Like, guys, it's on Radio Silence. A guy was calling me mentally nuts. It falls on the directors and writers. Like they're the ones paying these people.
No, it falls
Exactly.
on guys, studios who pay these motherfuckers, and people don't understand it like we do, Bob. It's the studios that hold all the cards. They sign the contracts. They pick the directors. They pick the writers. They do all that shit. It's the studio. You know what I mean? Like, these motherfuckers, they've been doing this with movies for years, man. And I hate it when they just let these creators create. You know what I mean? In all honesty, why do you think we see more of an influx of fan films? More than even more so than we see fan films of horror movies than we see in the big screen. Why? Because with fan films, you don't got nobody fucking with your shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You don't got nobody fucking with your shit. It is your own project. It is your own vision. You don't got nobody fucking trying to come in saying, oh, well, we don't like this. We don't like that. You need to take that out. I mean, fuck you. I'd make this how I want.
But no, part of the reason I was asking that is because, kind of like Nino was saying, it's up to Radio Silence to make a banger. But really, at the end of the day, while it is, it's also up to the studios to just mind their business. Yeah. So that's what has me worried, because it seems like people want Radio Silence to make a banger, but we're not taking into account, look at what the Weinsteins did to Wes Craven during the sequels. Yep. And that's why I was asking it, because I just thought it would be an interesting one to ask.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, that was a damn good question to ask.
Yeah. Hey, bro. Hey, I think I'm going to get ready to dip, though.
Yeah, no doubt, buddy. We're about to actually close it up actually ourselves. We've been going hard for the last few hours, and it is around bedtime, and I got to get up early to take my dog to get some shots.
Yeah, I feel you, bro.
Yeah.
We'll probably end up going Saturday.
But you know what? I'll take a shot for the dog early.
He appreciates it. All right, gang. But as you know, since I shot him 6 times, YouTube horror movie channel, I'm your host, Marcus. I'm out of here for the night. Everybody say bye to Jordan. Jordan, thank you for coming on. Bob, thank you for coming on. Always appreciate you guys' opinions and views. It was definitely fun, and we are going to be doing this again very, very soon. And guys, please do me a favor. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Share this stream. I don't care when it ends. Share it. It sits. The more views we get, the more attention we get to the channel. Show your support. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Carrie, I know you will, because you've been having my back on Twitter, posting all my stuff and all that, and I greatly appreciate you for that. So, Dino, everybody in the chat, look out for your boy. Always share these streams, even when they end. Share my videos. Help bring some more eyeballs to the channel. It helps out a ton.
All right, when you share these videos, make sure you put in that Bob versus Marcus, because we always get into an argument when Sam and Tara are brought up together.
It is true.
Tara's the killer. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, she is. You damn right.
She's sus.
We'll see.
Bro, I'm telling you, if that happens, bro, I'm passing out, bro. That will literally shock me, bro. I'm like,
oh, that would shock. That would shock me too.
Then everybody's gonna come to me. Did you have inside information?
Oh God.
Who'd you call? Who you got in your
Who would
back
be more
pocket,
shocking,
Bob?
Tara or Mindy? Probably Tara.
Tara, because it seems like a lot of people want Mindy as a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people do want Mindy as a killer.
Carrie, yes. I don't know how many times I have to establish it. Tara is sus.
Carrie's called off. She said no. Thank you.
One of these days, we're gonna have to have a debate.
Oh, hold on,
Marcus. You could be the moderator. We'll do it on your channel.
I'll be the referee, the moderator. I will just sit back and relax.
You know what? I'm second to also get Val in here because I need someone to have my back.
So, Carrie, all I'm saying is this. When you're available for a live stream, you let me know and we will put this together. You versus Bob, the battle of the theories, and I will be the moderator. I won't say a word. I will let you two shoot from the hip and have the stream to yourselves. I'll just be laid back, kick back, relax, eating some popcorn. Let's get this together. Carrie, let me know when you are available to go live. We got to make this happen.
Yes.
Bet. All
right, guys. Everybody have a nice night. And always remember, guys. If it's going to play or not. No, guess not.
I think you just switched back.
I hit the wrong one. I shot him 6 times.
You hear me? Oh shit.